Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Native Red, you know, they've historically played Cloud9 very well. Even going all the way back since Halo 5, they've always played Cloud9 well. And so I'm always going to give them a puncher's chance, but we're still talking about uphill battle. We're still talking about the favorite being C9. But all I'm saying, when you have the objective efficiency that they play with, like you said, the speed and momentum that they do, and when you have a Taulek on your team, who when we talk about some of the best slayers in the league, for some reason, everyone's ignoring the numbers, the absolute NBA 2K type of numbers that Taulek puts up on a consistent basis. Yeah, I'll give him a puncher's chance at any given time, but the issue becomes is that everything that Native Red do well, Cloud9 do better. When you talk about objective efficiency, oh yeah, you know, Cloud9's number. When you're talking about aggressiveness and being in the face of your opponent, throwing them off their rhythm with your constant aggression, oh yeah, that's what Cloud9 do well. You know, Cloud9's are older brothers. They're the younger ones.
Right. I talked about the very start. I talked about this game number 1. That start being so very important, and you see right on your screen right away, we've got Bound with the sniper in hand and this OS. So this is the momentum that Cloud9 need to kind of start this game off on the right foot. But look at the aggression already from Native.
Oh, Bound had the overshield and the sniper. He had the intel as a player onto the C plat, but didn't know there was somebody right behind him ready to give him the back smack. Druk, beautiful flank onto taking down that overshield player, gets rewarded with the sniper rifle because of it. Bound gets his big toe sniped right off the BR to finish. A 15-0 run so far for Cloud9, but Native Red are starting to strike back.
We talked right about this at the beginning of this series. How is Druk going to perform? And already starting off 4-2, making some big plays with the sniper, and 3 dead for Cloud9 once again, but it's a 1v1 as they do get those trades. And the rotation and the play ball being attempted here, but not going to happen. Right now, Native Red have the numbers advantage as there's a few that are off spawn on a timer.
Love this play by StelluR, going right behind enemy lines here, playing those pillars, finds himself a kill, ends up getting his back taken as well, so StelluR will end up going down, but this ball over towards that mid-map, both teams have the opportunity to fight for it. Pznguin, not exactly the angle that he wants to take, but make sure that his C side is clear. Right as that overshield is coming up, he'll sacrifice a bit of OBJ time to get that overshield, get a better break, and ultimately take over.
Yeah, you said sacrifice that overshield for the OBJ time, but they just picked up ball just now and have still not surpassed Cloud9. So with all that time where Cloud9 was up top in position for this OS, you know, Native Red were not really able to convert on much ball time. They start to convert now, but is a little too late. Those seconds really do add up. And at the end of the game, when it's a very close round, it could be a blunder for them, but we'll see how they're able to recover from this. It looks like they're starting to get a little bit of a lead.
Eco ends up being taken down. Druk finds an angle onto Bound, so that's going to be an easy kill. 3 down go Cloud9. Pznguin, the final player. One shot. Druk going right after him. That ball being swallowed up by Native Red, who looking to increase their lead. The A side ends up getting broken, though. Cloud9 resetting through that, even though Native Red are controlling the tower side of the map. That's exactly where they have that ball at.
Yeah, and everyone's doing their job, right? SoulSnipe is one of the only very pure OBJ players in the league. And then, of course, Druk is that incredible slayer. And you're starting to see, as they go 4 dead, of course, you're starting to see, you know, that OBJ time being picked up by SoulSnipe. They've got a sizable lead right now. And Druk having a very strong start to this game, already 10-5.
Bound kind of caught by himself, but luckily that's where he thrives. Taking down Taulek in that 1v1. Both Taulek and Manny find himself onto the black screen. SoulSnipe needs to make a play with this sniper. Instead, he's going to catch a couple grenades to the face. So now the tower side has been taken over here by Cloud9. That's where they want to bring the ball to. They got to actually go the opposite way, though. Native Red getting the God side spawns. It looks like Cloud9 forced to adapt from here.
Yeah, and they got that spawn, Tony, but Taulek is in the backside just putting shots into everybody, and that's really made it difficult for C9 to get any sort of hold. This OS coming up is going to be huge, especially if Taulek can get these couple of kills, but unfortunately for them, C9 come up clutch. They get one slay onto Taulek, but a great trade from Manny. This OS is coming up right now. They've got to fight for it.
And Cloud9 is fighting for this OS indeed, going right into the defenses of Native Red, getting the slate that they're looking for. So that's going to be easy. Overshield grab by Bound. The nades start to fly, but it's not going to be enough. Bound rips the overshield. Eco does end up going down, but it doesn't matter. Cloud9, the damage has been done. You get yourself your OS, you get yourself your heat wave. Now you identify the spawns and make it really tough for Native Red to break the setup that you already have locked down.
C9 have to check their corners here, make sure they don't get back smacked with that overshield in hand. This is their second OS of the match. Let's see if they're able to convert that overshield into some time here. It looks like they are. They're only 7 seconds out from gaining this lead back. Native Red doing a great job of getting slays on them, though. 2 down for Cloud9. I want to see how Cloud9's comms sound compared to that very first day where they sounded dejected. I want to see how they're sounding right now while they make this losers bracket run.
Top tower, one shot.
One shot, jumped out, dead.
What screens? Bottom middle. Living,
one's bottom mid.
Yeah. I'm saying tower.
I think he's going to
50 seconds over.
We gotta get kills. We gotta go get kills.
Cuts.
Okay, I'm gonna die. Get that kill. Cuts the top middle, free kill.
On OB to screens on you.
I need help.
Screens, nice.
Keter.
30 seconds, OV.
I'm going house. I'm in.
That's Nathan. Ball and dummies. 2 on Zane.
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
One shot, Tom mid.
I killed one. I killed T-box. Yes, I'm in. One shot in the vent. One shot in the vent. Just hitting the vent.
Yes, sir, drop.
Fell bottom mid.
He dropped. He did drop.
Alright, green and ball.
Ball and
Going
green,
back
ball
10
and
seconds, OV.
Good ball. Nice.
Green might be
Spawn
next.
green. Spawn green.
Yeah,
OV, guys, that's the objective. 5
Yeah,
seconds.
someone get it. Someone get it.
Top the bottom.
Yeah, one shot. I'm coming back to rat tunnel.
Top house. SoulSnipe. SoulSnipe trying to
Live, Braden.
One shot, 2 green, 1's absolute.
Trying to help you, yeah.
He's rat tunnel.
Overshield in the hands of Pznguin. Cloud9 able to strip away that ball from Native Red without that ball being played off the map here. So Cloud9 having the lead, having momentum, now having the slays as well. Native Red, they have maybe 1 or 2 more opportunities to break the setup and get the ball out of the hands of Cloud9. Time is ticking.
Yeah, Cloud9 are starting to slay out, and they're starting to work together a little bit more, too. You heard in the comms right there. That's something I want to talk about. It's a very big difference from what we heard in that day number 1. They sound confident. They sound like they want to win, and that's exactly what causes success here. Let's see if maybe Native Red can stop them. Only 8 seconds left, and C9 will take this first round.
The one thing I loved about those comms is that you heard Hoaxer in the background saying, overshield's coming up. 5 seconds, really getting on them to prioritize that map control, but it looks like Native Red are able to get a hold of that ball. The tower side set of Bound trying to find the target here. Manny rotating with the ball. They are getting trapped and squeezed, pinched out, creating a choke point. That ball needs to be played off the map, but Pznguin finds himself to kill. Pznguin now ends up going down himself, and the ball does end up getting played, and so is Pznguin.
Yeah, we got to talk about the resources there. That repulsor, so very important in that play. He gets 2 very big kills because of that. And now look at this. They've got 2 dead. They've got ball rotated towards A. This could potentially be a comeback for Native Red.
Bound body shot finishes off with the BR. Not done yet, having 1 more to deal with. That player rotating the ball away. It's SoulSnipe, a bit of a fumble, but is able to get the ball off. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
That ball didn't get played?
That's huge.
That ball didn't get played, and Cloud9 now 5 seconds away from being able to take the game. Native Red aren't even in position to get the ball out of their hands, and because of that, Cloud9 are going to take round number 1.
That was actually incredible. I really thought he had the toss on that one to throw it off the map. That tiny little play just tossed that first round as much as Native Red did to make sure that they were contesting. That one play tossed it all out the window, and now Cloud9 had the lead, a very comfortable lead in this first game.
It's all good. We're going to reset here. And so is Native Red. SoulSnipe prioritizing that sniper rifle. He wants to put it to work and, more importantly, keep it out of the hands of Cloud9. Overshield already coming up. Not much time to work with, and Bound is hunting you down. The movement too smooth. The man sneaky with it. Grabs the OS. Doubles back over behind the Needler. Now he's going to put it to work. Overshielded sniper rifle. Cracks Manny before getting away. Bound absolutely shutting down Native Red and says, hey, take this ball. I got some slays to get.
A little bit of deja vu here for Bound. Once again, he's got sniper and overshield, but this time putting in the value needed Cloud9 are able to take a 13-second lead thus far, and Bound is not missing shots. This is what we need to see. He needs to fill the shoes of the best player in the game in Renegade, and he's doing just that in this first game.
20-0 run in favor of Cloud9. Bound putting work with the heat wave as well. Finally, they're able to take him down, slow down the push that Cloud9 are creating. In fact, they put them 3 down, and of course, Pznguin finds himself a kill despite being 3, but Cloud9 get wiped. Native Red should be getting some ball time off of this, and off of all the slays that we saw was only a 22-0 run in favor of C9.
And another thing, Tony, to kind of add to your point, is the fact that C9 have pretty much gotten every single OS in this game, and honestly, it hasn't really turned into, you know, much time. Native Red have, you know, kept it really close. Of course, you know, of course C9 did get that very first round, but 3 overshields in a game. If Native Red start getting those OSs, we could see a different outcome for this second round.
You're seeing the picture-in-picture that OS is being fought over. Bound, of course, trying to get his second one in a row, and it looks like he's able to produce. Native Red don't even contest it whatsoever, and now you're going to pay because of it. Bound tagging up Taulek left and right, comes back in, gets himself the reversal. Druk taking some shots as well, but somehow Manny and Native Red able to divide their resources, divide and conquer. They get the ball, they play the ball. Bound has no more LOS to work with than what you would have thought to be about 20 to 30 seconds worth of time for Cloud9. Really doesn't amount to much.
Still, the distraction there from Bound was caused, though. They end up getting 3 dead for Native Red, and this does turn into a little bit of a setup, but this is what I love about Native Red, the fact that they're really able to just play so aggressive on Cloud9 setup and break it as fast as possible, and it comes down to those power weapons once again. That heat wave playing a big factor here, and now a 2v2 situation. These next couple kills are very important.
Native Red's so good at scrapping away this ball time. It's one of their specialties. Yeah, 5 seconds here, 7 seconds there. Before you know it, they take the lead on you. And you're saying, how? They never had control. But now it's a Native Red dominating the C side of the map. Pznguin forced to back down. Bound hunting down and right into the hands of Native Red. Set, mine, and trap them into flying in. But hold on, Eco falls off the map. So the ball ends up getting played. Cloud9 find 3 down. What's happening here, Active?
I mean, that play ball, I believe it was by Manny right there, was beautiful because all of his team was set up on bottom center, but now they've got to watch for these B spawns. Cloud9 being aggressive on the top center side of the map from B.
Native Red getting the information that the push is coming from the B side. Druk trying to get out of dodge here with the sniper rifle. Doubles back. They're not going to expect that one. Can't quite connect with the head, and now that's going to reveal his positioning here. But Druk staying alive, and now you're seeing Manny get into position himself. You're seeing Pznguin end up going down. Native Red were running away. They were the prey. Now they're trying to become the hunters. It's not going to happen, though. Of course they go 3 down. Of course StelluR steals away that overshield. And, of course, Cloud9 widen their lead.
But look at the lead. It's not a lot. They've gotten 3 overshields in a row in this round alone. But it's only a 20-second lead here for Cloud9. Native Red, they need to prioritize this next overshield. It is the most important item on the map when it comes up. They need to make sure they prioritize this, but at the same time, they've got to get the slays on the board here because Cloud9 are getting a ton of time.
They need these slays, and that's what they're looking for, but it's so tough to do when StelluR has the heat wave taking height immediately. SoulSnipe ends up going down. That was your anchor. Manny tries to come in, not close enough for the refall, so we do start to see some numbers going in favor of Native Red. Cloud9 rotating this ball away. Bound somehow finds the kill. Jab getting away. Bound somehow still alive here. Native Red are starting to fall.
Yeah, Bound was still alive. That's exactly right. And he also got a kill while being the last player alive on C9. And that's huge for the side of C9 at this point in time. Not able to get much scrap time to go down. And now a potential push from Native Red. And of course, a hold as well as Manny holds that Oddball.
72-49 lead in favor of Cloud9 here. Eco doing a great job of holding down this B side just long enough for his teammates to get into position. Bound doesn't care about position, doesn't care about his teammates. He just wants to deal as much damage as possible. And with that, Cloud9 should be able to capitalize on it, finding yet another 1-shot 2 down for both of the teams. Taulek flies into a grenade out of Pznguin, and Eco's holding onto this ball with just 25 seconds. We could see Cloud9 pull off the 2-0. Native Red, where are you?
Yeah, and that OS is coming up too. They get 2 kills, which is huge. Make that 3. And the timing of Cloud9 to get these kills. Now Sniper and Overshield are up. No one in really position to get that except for Manny. He's got to win that 1v1. That ball is down. There's still time on the board. But once again, bound OS number 4 in a row, making waves at this point in time. Only 15 seconds is all Cloud9 needs to close this first game.
There is no way you're going to be able to come back in this game if you can't control the resources. You can't be giving out OSs and snipers time and time again. Cloud9 are going to make you pay every single time. You see them put it to work. You've seen what they've done. 3 down go Cloud9. StelluR still having the awareness to rotate this ball over. Native Red always seemingly being a step behind. The kills go in, but Cloud9 are able to regain and stabilize time and time. And now there's 2 down for Native Red. Now the ball finds the hands of Cloud9. The same thing that Native Red do so well in cheeking away this ball time and being so scrappy. Cloud9 are doing the same thing. And when they do it, they win games.
That's exactly what they just did. Cloud9 go up 1-0 in the series. And that's a good start for them. Like I said, Native Red, I truly believe they needed this first one. And unfortunately, Cloud9 has ripped it from underneath them in style and in fashion. I've got to point out those overshields, Tony. 4 in a row. You said it yourself. You can't let that happen. You can't let the opposing team control that much of the sandbox, that much of the resources, because it ends up turning out just like this.
We're seeing some of the Elgato replays here on screen, but you know, I don't even need to see the replay. I don't need to see the stats to know that Cloud9 were dominant. And you know, there was times when Native Red looked good, but every time they were making these runs, it felt like, okay, it's only a matter of time before C9 are able to regain it. They weren't getting those clean round displays that you want to see from the team. You know, they were getting these scrappy kills, the scrappy ball time, but when it came to clean setups, when it came to clean rotations, it was all Cloud9.
All right. 100% agree. Cloud9 really known for that, for those structured holds and that just methodical but very detailed and decisive gameplay. We're seeing it here. You know, I said at the beginning that, you know, maybe Cloud9 is a little bit weaker online, but you know, they're showcasing here that they belong in this tournament. They're fighting through. The comms sounded great when we heard them as well from C9. Native Red, they have a chance to potentially come back, but C9 are looking stronger than they did in day 1, and that's what's important to me.
Almost 9,000 damage coming out of Druk right there. So as far as in the damage department, as far as keeping up in the slays, it looks like Native Red were able to do it.
Right.
Now we got to see them do it in the Slay when it matters most. This game number 2 is what we're fighting for, and it's going to be on Catalyst, the newest map that's been added to our circuit. We're going to find out who can come out on top, who can control that skewer, who can control that OS, and who's going to spend most of the time off the map when it comes to the grapple, whether it's under or around. That grapple can be so dangerous when it comes to just staying alive and buying time for your teammates to come off a spawn.
Yeah, there's so many cool plays you can make with that skewer. You use it all the time when we play matchmaking, Tony, and it annoys me because you leave me to die, as always. But regardless, here we go. Druk, already in position right now. He's got that repulsor to make use of, and that'll allow him to stay alive. And that overshield, down bottom center, of course. But he does not get the win. That's what makes Bound so good. Such an individually skilled player, and he turns that into a double.
In the round before this went over in the semis, we saw Cloud9 time and time again really take direct routes over towards the overshield. Normally these teams at this level of gameplay will use it as bait for quite some time, but against G1, Cloud9 running straight at it, and they controlled most of it. We're gonna see if they do it again, but an excellent counter out of Manny using that plasma pistol to neutralize the OS. Somehow Pznguin still ends up getting himself a double kill and a 9-0 start for Cloud9.
That is a really good start for them. We've mentioned before that Cloud9 is a very strong Slayer roster. Druk finally gets the first kill on the board here, but you can see he's a little bit staggered. And now they've got Pznguin to deal with behind them as well. Of course, that sword not going to be picked up. It is GA'd. Gentleman's agreement to not use it in these matches, and it won't be used at Orlando as well, at least within the, I believe, the top 16. So that plays out very interesting with that sword being gone.
Pznguin slowing down, trying to catch an angle. Taulek almost catches a spike. right to the face here, but now 3 members of Native Red are pushing right through the base. They're stacking numbers and playing aggressive. Pznguin gonna try to get out of here. Icy movement out of him, but Taulek is still on the hunt, and Pznguin is gonna be forced to 180. Can't quite connect. Pznguin goes down. Bit of malfunction out of the grapple. Taulek now running through. And just like that, this was a 9-0 start for Cloud9, and Native Red doing everything they can to claw their way back into it.
Great job by Native Red, number 1, to get that overshield and melt it off a bound. There is no more OS. If you can't get the OS first, that's the second best decision, is to melt it there. But Tony, we saw that in the last play. We talked about how aggressive Native Red is on this map in Slayer because the spawns are dynamic. Their type of playstyle really does work. They're able to push in 3s and as a group and basically hold hands. And you saw Pznguin had to kind of double back there for his teammate StelluR, but it ended up 3 down for Cloud9 2 times in a row. And now, look at that. They're back in the game, only down by 1.
This was once a 9-0 start, like we said, and I don't know what happened to the lead, but Native Red are here. Off the screen, Eco able to find himself a big kill. We do see a bit of a flank coming out of Manny, trying to get right in between both of these players here. Doesn't know who to prioritize. Instead, he's like, I'm just gonna get out of here. This is obviously not the fight that he wants to take. Couple nades behind him. Looks to regroup, regain towards his teammates who are fighting onto the sword side of the map.
Yeah, that was a great play by Manny. Just to be in a situation where you know you're kind of pinched there, you don't really have an angle to get the person on bottom because then you expose yourself to the other one. He gets out of dodge, and because of that, he stays alive, and he's able to help with his teammates here. And look at that. They're still down by a little bit here, but it's very important that he was alive because now they're able to kind of get a couple kills. But Cloud9 once again with the trades and now Bound with a skewer.
Bound takes some damage, has to try to get away. Luckily, he's able to do so. And now you're seeing all of Cloud9 start to spawn up and started to get in position here. A 4v4 scenario. And neither one of these teams want to be the first one to go down. Not when Overshield is coming up. Do not get averaged here.
Pay attention to the names on your screen. You have 3 players that are pretty much kind of next to each other on the same side of the map. And then you've got Druk all alone on his side. And it's up to him to kind of make a play. Maybe take some distraction. And then his teammates are able to push together. The pace of this game is definitely slowing down here. Like I said, Druk, isolated, is able to get a big kill. This opens things up, and watch, his team is going to be aggressive here, and this OS is coming up.
Eco trying to sit up high to bait out that overshield, but the damage forced into the back down. Druk knows exactly where he's at, tries to slide in and steal the kill. Eventually, he's able to do so. That should be open. That should be enough of an opening for Native Red to try to get a hold of that overshield, trading out their life. 3 down, go Cloud9. Pznguin still baiting out that OS. And they have the grapple side. I wonder if anybody was able to get a hold of that grapple for C9, because that could be huge for stealing the OS away.
That overshield is still down bottom. They don't want to give up any kills for it, though. You can't just go down there. You've got to, like you said, get that grapple or get 3 dead, and that's exactly what C9 do. Once again, Cloud9 are going to have the overshield, but this time it's not going to be melted, and now Bound going to be able to utilize it and get value.
We talk about it time and time again here. It's not just about getting the slays. It's what you do to punish the enemy team once you're able to get those slays. We saw Native Red put Cloud9 3 down. Why didn't they get the overshield? Why were Cloud9 able to regain off of that and add on to this lead? This game number 2 is critical for Native Red, but they're not playing like it is.
Yeah, unfortunately, in that situation that you're talking about, that, you know, Cloud9 did get that grapple side spawn, so they're in a position to kind of defend on that overshield, and the timing just wasn't there. But you said it best. That's 2 overshields in a row. I think 3 actually in a row for this Cloud9 roster. And once again, we see that that is the story of this game. And that is what really is causing Native to have a hard time. They're trading in the 1v1s. They're individually skilled. They're winning their pivs, but they're not able to utilize this OS. And every time Bound gets it, it's going to give them a lot of value, even cause a distraction, which then turns into kills.
Pznguin not able to stay alive. Manny finds the back smack. Manny steals away that grapple and almost able to get the overshield. Not quite able to pop it, so it's sitting over toward the mid-map. The pings are going in. Cloud9 know where it's at, but they're getting flanked. The damage is coming in as well. Everybody trying to get a hold of the overshield. Native Red flying in with the nades, getting the slay they're looking for. Eco, though, steals away OS and is able to pop it despite being 1 shot, and that's not going to be good. 4 more kills, and Cloud9 take it, make it 3.
Yeah, you can pretty much call this here. 3 more kills, make that 2. OS, pretty much all Cloud9 needs to do at this point is get the trades. And Native Red know just that. That's why they're backing up in their base, trying to play slow. But they've got the crossfire. It's just that they've got to make sure that they don't give up any easy deaths here. This is possible, but it's definitely not probable.
Penguin flying into the action. SoulSnipe able to get himself a kill, but StelluR
It is.
gets that double kill. The Skewer for the first, the BR for the second. That's a 2-0 lead, and Native Red now are in danger of getting swept.
Massive danger. And Tony, there was just one variable that, I mean, I hate to just continue to repeat the same thing, but it's got to be stressed, okay? Hoaxer is obviously doing an incredible job as a coach on that Cloud9 roster. They have not missed a step when it comes to setting up. It's not just about jumping on OS when you see it come up. It's about setting up. It's about timing the kills to make sure that you have an opening to get that overshield and that you can utilize it to gain you value as a team. And unfortunately, Native Red didn't do that in the past 2 games. And now they find themselves down 2-0. They find themselves at game point, and Cloud9 has a chance to take them out of the tournament.
Timing is key. And you gotta be able to get those kills at the right time. Stay alive at the right time. It's not just individual battles, it's what is happening on the map. And when those overshields are coming up, even that Skewer, you gotta give yourself every single advantage possible. 4,100 damage out of Eco, only taking 3,300 in return. His teammates are right behind him with that. Cloud9 are just looking a step above Native Red. Luckily for Native Red, game number 3 is going to be Strongholds. And I think that Native Red will be able to do a lot better of a job of putting down damage and out-rotating C9, constantly putting them on a cycle. This game number 3, they should look different than they have in the first 2.
Yeah, I think they're putting up a fight in the first 2, but again, just look at the scoreline there, 2-0 and then 50-37. Strongholds Streets, we talk about it all the time. This is Native Reds. In my opinion, this is Native Reds' strongest game time. So we'll definitely see a different Native here. I just hope that they can control those power weapons and make sure they control those resources, because if they bring that aggressive play to the small map of Streets, but they don't have the power weapon control, Cloud9 is just going to shut them down at the end of the day. We'll see if they're able to kind of bring that aggressive play, that individual play that they brought in these past 2 games, but also control power weapons and work together a little bit better to try and close out this game. This is it right here. They don't win this one, they're out.
When I'm looking at this Native Red roster, I gotta keep my eyes on Manny. You're talking about the ultimate X Factor. Not only was I calling him that back in the day, but even SoulSnipe calls him that as well. The man is the one to go on these hot streaks, these swings that they need. There's a reason why when Manny left this squad, they didn't look the same. Even when King Nick coming in, they didn't look the same, and that's because they needed Manny. The vibes he brings, the communication, the being able to swing games in his favor by dropping these crazy triple kills out of nowhere. They need Manny, so my eyes are going to be on him. If Manny has a pop-off game, I think they beat Cloud9. I think they come out on top, at least in this game number 3, and make this series competitive. Sadly, if he has a bad game and Native Red lose it, they're going home.
Yeah, and I think they're a great roster, and I'm kind of glad they're back together. The second longest running roster that we have in the HCS, aside from Sentinels, of course. But yeah, Manny brings what you said, those hot streaks, and I also think he brings that objective efficiency, though. Nick, if you look at the stats in Halo Data Hive, he didn't really bring objective efficiency to this squad, and it was always really SoulSnipe and Manny that played that objective role while Taulek and Druk were slaying out of their minds. So if we can see a little bit of that, we can see him maybe pop off. I think he's also an all-around player, so he can do whatever's needed. I think you're right. I think we'll see a better series, but taking out Cloud9, I'm going to have to push back on that one. I don't think that they do have a chance here, but at the end of the day, I mean, all it takes is all 4 of them popping off. We talked to KotH in the green room earlier. All it takes is all 4 of them having the best, their best possible performance to potentially take this series.
We know for a fact that Cloud9 want this win. And it's more than the money. Cloud9, they got money. Let's be honest. They doing all right. They doing okay.
Right.
But Cloud9 have been matching consistently against FaZe, and at one point in time, Cloud9 were getting the best of them. However, recently, FaZe have been going at them and taking them out of tournaments. If Cloud9 are able to win this matchup, they get the chance to potentially get their rematch against FaZe, and there's a lot of implications on the line here. So I'm thinking Cloud9, they want to go at it. They know that Renegade, the Renegade left that team left him,
Right.
was trying to leave him in shambles. The Renegade thought that this team would be nothing without him. And Cloud9 know that. So Cloud9 want to get this win. They want to go at FaZe, and they want their opportunity to make it into the grand final. So lots of emotions on the line here. But in order to do that, Cloud9 will have to close out on Native Red on their best game type, Strongholds.
And all it takes is one, Tony, right, to come back with a reverse sweep. So we'll see if Native Red is able to do that here. I mean, I've been seeing kind of an inconsistency in the players out of Native Red. You can look at the stats, you can look at, all of the statistics, the damage, the assists, they all kind of tie together. And we're seeing like one player have a really good game, but then a couple players not have such good games. And again, it goes back to they've got to all perform to their ability, and that's what it takes. And we talked about endurance before, we talked about flow state. We know this team is capable of a flow state. If you guys attended KC HCS, my word, this team was such a entertaining team to watch with the KC crowd behind them. But we've got to see that here online, where you don't have those other factors, you don't have a crowd cheering for you, you still got to bring your best. And I know that Native Red is capable of that.
Well, looks like our game is ready and on the way. Strongholds Streets is going to be our game number 3. And this is the opportunity for Cloud9 to either pull off the sweep or for Native Red to start the run, which might lead to a reverse sweep. So far, the first one that we'll see on stream here in your eUnited $25,000 Grunt Classic.
Here we go. This is it for Native Red. They've got to win this game. And we know this is one of their strongest game types, so we'll see if they can pull it off. But it's gonna come down to that power weapon control. And right off the bat, Druk's got that bulldog in hand. He starts off with a double, and SoulSnipe gets a kill of his own. That's 3 dead for Cloud9, and rockets in the hands of Druk.
If you're gonna win out of the team against Cloud9, you gotta control the rockets, you gotta control the resources. Druk knows what's on the line, takes down one, then takes down himself. Clearly wasn't happy with the angle of that first rocket, so decides to reset, take himself out here and score. We have a double cap going in favor of Native Red, putting the first points on the board. Cloud9 immediately responding though, and looking to put their first points as well.
Yeah, they get 3 dead for Native Red. Pace will start to slow just a tad here. Taulek, that's a big kill with a stalker, able to provide a little bit of an even playing field. But Taulek is on a little bit of a late spawn, so this C 1v1 is so incredibly huge right there by Druk, but they get the trade somehow. Cloud9, that is. So C is still going to be the hands of C9. That was a big kill.
Ground game right into the face of Manny. The trades go in. Pznguin though comes off with a melee of himself. Both of these teams fighting so fast for this map control here. We're switching point of views. We're trying to get a clean round of slays. That hasn't happened yet, but finally we're seeing Native Red fall 3 down. Cloud9 getting that control you're looking for. Native Red now gonna be spawning up towards the A side, and it's up to C9 to block off those angles, create those choke points, and squeeze them in.
Yeah, but unfortunately Native Red do get those split spawns, but very great intellect to know to back off of that. If 2 players spawn at the PD side, you can see in our beautiful picture-in-picture, those rockets definitely gonna play a factor here. Cloud9 starting off, very strongly. They're able to get the slays, and they pretty much had B and C this entire time. But right now, it looks like B is being taken by Native Red, and Manny's got the rockets, so this is a big swing right here in this game.
Cloud9 always seemingly taking control when it matters most, but Manny not able to get a hold of the rockets, gonna swap it out, give it to the hands of StelluR, and StelluR obviously knows what to do with it. Taulek will try to take height over towards the heavens, ends up being sent down to hell. StelluR locking down the map. Cloud9 comfortable with the CB setup. Native Red can't break through. 2 down, 3 down. This is not looking good.
But you see right there what happens? They miss one rocket. They miss one rocket on the last set of rockets as well. But they miss another one on this set of rockets. They're not able to, get that kill. And because of that, C9 get the rockets. They get 1. And then shortly after, turn it into 3 dead. That's what a good team does. They punish you for their mistakes. I really do want to hear the comms of Native right now as they're going through this tough journey. How are they sounding like? Are they sounding positive? Are they sounding negative? How are the vibes? We'll see it right now.
Bound is bottom C.
One shot, back PD guys.
Bound is driveway, bound is driveway.
Be serious.
Driveway's coming.
Look at driveway.
Ready, mommy, ready, mommy.
Look at driveway, look at driveway.
Watch driveway. And be serious. Be serious on MB.
My bad.
What did he?
He stuck me. He said his arcade was stuck.
You can see.
Alright, that guy's stuck with us.
We should try to get out here. One trash. There's a kill, trash. Go, bro.
Red wall, for agent.
One shot be dead.
Box in 20.
With
half.
Slucker.
10 seconds.
Front seat.
I'm getting B immediately.
Rocks in 5.
Yeah.
Stop the triple gap.
Yeah.
Tires.
Feel like rockets.
Yeah, that's one PD, guys.
Kevin weak. Watch out for rockets.
Absolute place with rockets. He's pushing B.
One shot driveway in B. There's 2B.
Alright, I'm gonna try to get 2.
C.
I'm back here, guys.
Cloud9 dominant in this performance here. A 204-14 run. Native Red are having a tough time here on the streets. And this is their last opportunity. Cloud9 are 1 round away from guaranteeing their spot in the top 4 from going up against FaZe. Native Red, I don't know what you can do, but you got to figure it out right here, right now.
Yeah, immediately. The second they get that double cap, Cloud9 just comes in and rips it from them. And once again, we have a triple cap potential in our hands. Native get that spawn onto Tram, but Cloud9 have done such a good job of just putting a stranglehold onto Native Red, not allowing them any space whatsoever, and pushing back on their aggression. 3 dead once again. 9 seconds is all that remain.
5 more seconds. It seems like it's only a matter of time now. Sadly, Native Red, your stop might end here. Eco comes in with the kill, clears out the B side, and just like that, we have Cloud9 going to your losers bracket semifinals.
What an interesting match we have ahead of us right now. This is what we kind of waited for. For those of you guys that were not here yesterday, FaZe Clan sent Cloud9 to the losers bracket in a 3-0 fashion. But we're seeing a very different Cloud9 today. One that wants to win. One that's showing that they're capable of winning this entire tournament. But we also, at the same time, see a very hot FaZe Clan who just 3-1 G1. The team that got 2nd place in the Super. I don't want to go out without saying great job by Native Red. I'm glad that they're back together. They've got to find that one thing that sets them above their ceiling, though. I believe that ceiling is still there, and it's going to prevent them from getting any better than they have been. I think once they find that, this team could be amazing, but a great showing nonetheless.
Yeah, it was a great job by Native Red. I mean, you end up in 6th place, or top 6, excuse me. But the issue is that there's other teams that are contending for top 6 that aren't here. Like, for example, Quadrant, G2. You know, there's teams that that weren't able to compete today that are also contending for the top 6. So Native Red, you're gonna have to come out swinging, especially look better than in that Cloud9 matchup. Looking for them, they've been looking good outside of this series, and hopefully they can figure it out here by Orlando. Cloud9 though, 3-0. And we're looking at the series here, 2-0 in game number 1, 50-37 that game 2, and a 250-14 win on Strongholds Streets on their road to get their rematch against FaZe.
And that's a Cloud9 roster that, you know, I did call weak at the beginning of this series. And honestly, I really do think that they are proving to be a very strong team. Like I said, there's levels to them. And I feel like, you know, they've shown us a different level here. And I believe they're a much better team on land as well. So even at Orlando, what are we going to see? But when it comes to, real quick, when it comes to Native Red, I feel like they've got some games to watch now. And they've got some work to do for Orlando. Like you said, Orlando's a big tournament. That's how you qualify for Worlds. So we'll see if Native Red can come back with some great plays coming Orlando.